So welcome back, guys. This is the Ninja Movies here, delivering on my promised review of the film Psycho 2. Now, if you didn't check out my most recent VHS update, definitely do so. This was in there along with the other sequels in the Psycho franchise. And last night was a big night for me. I actually watched Psycho 2, 3 and half of 4. Right after filming this video, I'm going to go finish the fourth film. And just like this review coming in a prompt manner, Psycho 3 and 4 will be coming to you very soon, so stay tuned for those reviews. So, Psycho 2, I had only seen the one time, and that was probably about 10 years ago, so we're not going to even claim it. This was a really fresh viewing. Me and my partner watched this together, and me and my partner have also watched the original Psycho several times. She's quite a big fan of it, as well as I am, and we also are huge fans of the TV series Bates Motel. So going into this film, I was really excited to see how it fares to the original, because this is a film that came out in the 80s, and I heard this is a lot more of a slasher film. You can argue that the original Psycho is a slasher film, but it's much more of a suspense thriller to me. There is killing, obviously, and I guess it is the very first slasher kill in the shower, but you know, I would say it needs a lot more of a higher kill count to be considered that sort of genre for me. And in this film, you'd actually be surprised, because you would find yourself sympathising with Norman Bates a whole lot more than you usually would. I think this is the one that you feel for him the most, simply for the fact that you don't really know if he's really tormented in this film. He's actually come out of a mental institution after 22 years, as it says. He never went to jail. He was locked up in the loony bin, more or less, and he's cured now, and he can come out. However, the Crane sister from the first film is obviously not happy with that. She's the one that found Norman's mother, and he also killed her sister. So petitioning that, she's in the very first scene, she's like, can't let him out, he'll just do it again, nobody changes. And from there on out, her and her daughter, they actually pretty much proceed to make Norman feel insane. They leave notes, you know, in his mother's sort of terminology, calling all these women whores and cunts and things like that. So pretty much he's tormented. He thinks that mother's really back, but the whole thing is he's not getting the visual side of it. So he's like, is it really happening? Some of the kills in this film are brutal as hell. I feel like any movie that has a stabbing, you know, if you got a butcher knife and instead of going to the body or something and you go straight for the face, that's aggressive. And there's a couple of those sort of scenes in this. Actually, Norman takes quite a beating at the end of the film, and yeah, I see him get stabbed in the hand. They do a quick shot, and it'll be a jab like that, go through the other hand, in the neck, in the gut. It's intense. It's definitely different. I think it's a fairly well acted movie, and I actually like seeing Norman. He works at a diner for a portion of the film, and I like seeing him outside of the motel. The dude that was running the motel as well, while Norman was locked up, was really sleazy, well performed. You really hate this sort of character. I think overall it was a very decent sequel. It's a bit confusing, I'll be honest. After watching 3 and 4, I feel like this is the one that really tried its hardest to be a whodunit and, you know, not be a straightforward film. So it's a convoluted plot. Especially when you get to the end, because I guess more or less you think that the Crane sisters are behind it for the whole time, but they actually reveal it to be a Scooby-Doo whodunit, and it's the I guess one of the characters you meet at the diner at the very start of the movie claims to be Norman's sister, and actually the real birth mother of Norman. I don't really know why they did that. They could have just left it at the Crane sisters, and I think that would have been much more of a better plot, but they just decided to spin it at the end so Norman can, I guess, whack this woman that's claiming to be his mother and go full rotation and go into Psycho 3 as if, you know, how he did at the end of Psycho 1, carrying his mother and having her up in the bedroom. It's definitely worth a watch. I would highly recommend it, at least as a one-time viewing. The VHS quality, it was a bit average. I'm just comparing to 3 and 4. They looked quite good. It had a lot of darker moments, so on tape, I don't know. I would just like to see how it fares on DVD as well, but there that is, Psycho 2. An interesting film. I'm glad it was made, and I'm glad it follows up the story. Is it my favourite sequel? We'll have to just find out in the coming reviews. So thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for Psycho 3.